All right, everybody, as I'm sure you know, this is an E46 BMW M3. This has the S54 straight 6 engine producing 338 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque. This particular car has a light tune and an exhaust on it, so we're going to be putting out a little bit more than that. Produced from 2000 to 2006. This particular one has the proper 3-pedal 6-speed manual, while some of the other ones had the 6-speed SMG2 gearbox. Now, let's see here. We have a few, like I said, we have a few performance mod on this one. But frankly, an M3 like this is meant to be driven. I've wanted to drive one of these for a long time. So as soon as the traffic will allow me, this gentleman's going to get out of my way, and then hopefully these will as well. I'm going to do that. Now, allegedly, this car does 0 to 60 in about 5 or so seconds, which isn't fast by today's standards, but it's pretty quick. So why don't we take a look and see how she does. Not bad. But damn, the straight 6 sounds really good. And immediately, I'm driving this car against the E39 M5, which is another legendary BMW from this era. And immediately, the first thing you notice, this car feels razor sharp. This is one of the first times I'm properly driving an E46 M3. And holy hell, do I understand why people love them so much. Other quick impressions on this car, it does have this slightly dated interface here, but there are updates available, like the one in the M5. The shifter is very sharp and precise. This one also has an Alcantara steering wheel, much like the M5. And as I've said in that video, or will say in that video, depending on which order these go live, I'm not the biggest fan of Alcantara. I'm not a big fan of the way it feels or how hard it is to keep clean. But it does provide a lot of grip, and it does actually look pretty damn cool in this car. Other notes. Sorry, my camera guys over there were just saying to give a fat pull. So, can't say no to that. This car also does have some very squeaky brakes, but they are extremely, extremely effective. That's it for my first impressions. So, one more pull, and then we'll jump on to some fun twisty roads. All right. We have a twisty road. We have an E46 M3 with some light mods. And right away, this car is just one of the best canyon carving cars I've ever driven. It's a little tricky to grab second gear in this particular one. I'm not sure if that is an E46 thing or this particular example thing. And normally I'm not one for these 6 cylinders, but damn, this one sounds incredible. We've got a little motorcycle out here slowing us up, but that's just going to give me more time to talk about this M3. Steering is very sharp. The brakes are excellent. The motor is revvy. I've driven a lot of cars through here. I've driven the 348, the Porsche 912 you saw. I drove the Maserati you saw. I've just driven the i8 through it. This is quite possibly my favorite, save for the Ferrari. And of course the Ferrari is, no power steering, completely low slung, and it's kind of hard to beat that. But this car, value for money, is off the scale. Quick, it's fun through here, and I'm looking forward to my blast up the hill. And let me just check that no one's come behind me. And here we go. I expected this car to be very good given the reputation it has. And it's even better than I thought it was going to be with my high expectations. It is just so happy to rev, and it is so planted and confident through every one of these corners. I've driven Ferraris up here, like I mentioned, and I just don't feel that confident in it. But with this car, it's fast enough that you can really mob it, but it's not so fast that you feel you're going to lose it going through these corners. Whew. I do apologize if this section of the review isn't very good, but frankly, it's just hard to think coming through here at this kind of speed with this car. So I'm going to pull over, get off, and I will rejoin you on some smoother, more normal roads. Alright, so down on some more regular roads in this M3. And so to follow up, we already talked a little bit about the handling and how much I was fawning over this car up on the twisty roads. But down here it does suffer a little bit, because as you can tell, there's a lot of shaking and rattling in this thing. It is quite loud. As a daily car, that sort of suffers a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you're the sort who wants to daily this car, you'll certainly put up with it. And frankly, that's a slim population, because most people who are buying an E46 these days are buying it as a weekend toy that they want to build out, like this one has been. Other notes in terms of throttle response, as I mentioned, this is a very rev-happy engine. And in terms of brake response, very sharp. It'll definitely stop you. Steering response, superb. I really, really do like this car. But as I mentioned, it's not a daily car. That's just not what you need it for. If I had to describe it as a tool, to sort of use a bit of a metaphor to describe the handling and such, this car is very much a scalpel, in that it's built to do one thing, and it does that one thing extremely well. It's very sharp and it's very precise. You wouldn't use a scalpel to cut a piece of paper or to, cut a piece of tape. In the same way, you wouldn't use this car generally as a daily. Noticing just in this particular example, the seats are bolstered, just so, and they're not quite right for someone my size. But up on the twisty roads, I was extremely glad that they were pinching me as hard as they were. I think that actually kind of sums this car up pretty well. As I've mentioned before, I've also been reviewing an E39 M5 today, and I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't seen that video yet. And I also am planning at the end of this month of February, I'll be putting out another video where I really go into depth into how much these two cost and which one you should invest your money in my opinion, and which one I personally would invest my money in. I also will, at the time this is released, I will already have had out my article on this car reviewing it, sort of a text-based version of what I've just told you. That will be live on Drive Tribe. You'll get to see some more photos of this, and you'll have all of that very soon. I'd like to take a moment to thank the owner, Chris Lee, for loaning me this car. I'll have his Instagram down below. He does amazing car photography and just general photography, so you should definitely check him out. He helped with some of the B-roll today, in addition to loaning me the car. So, aside from these squeaky brakes, that's about all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and all the rest of that. And I guess all I have to leave you with is one last fat pull.